Oi oi people, Silky here, and you're listening to the Lifer Musician Podcast. A podcast exploring the minds of creatives who've dedicated their lives to pursuing a career in music. The Lifer Musician Podcast is brought to you by Hookins Management, my artist services company that empowers our fellow DIY musicians to grow a monetised fan base without a record label. We offer a range of services such as online marketing, artist mentorship, release campaign management, videography, photography, graphic and website design, plus tons more useful services that are built to cater for independent musicians on small, self-funded budgets. Helping musicians market and monetize their art form is our passion. So if you're an artist that needs help taking your career to the next level, please feel free to reach out and get in touch via hookinsmanagement.com, where you can book a video call with me for some free advice on your project. Before we get stuck into this next episode of the Lifer Musician Podcast, I want to give a big shout out to the New Cross Inn venue in London for giving us their space to film today's episode. Nice one, gang. I appreciate the support. On today's episode, I'm very excited to be joined by Mike Sosinski. Mike is a real DIY music warrior. He's the founder of the hottest new ska label out there, Bad Time Records, and singer, guitarist in D.C Ska Punk band Kill Lincoln. Mike recently raised an incredible $78,000 on Kickstarter to fund a documentary movie about the Bad Time Records 2023 tour, an amazing win for the DIY ska community. I'm sure this conversation is going to be packed full of interesting insights for our listener base of like-minded DIY musicians. So without further ado, let's get into it. Mike Sosinski.
Yes.
Welcome to the Lifer Musician Podcast, my friend. Thank you so much for being here, mate. I appreciate it's a hectic schedule at the moment with everything that's going on with Bad Time. So yeah, thanks for being here, mate.
Thank you so much for having me. Thanks for asking. And you nailed my name, by the way. I know you were a little worried about it.
I was really nervous.
You got it.
So you founded the label in 2018 after being frustrated by the lack of support out there for the current generation of ska punk bands. Tell us about the process of starting your own label. What was the first release and what moves did you have to make to get it out to the world?
Yeah, I mean, the process of starting the label was, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So it was like, well, let's just put a name on it. Let's put a record out. Let's see what happens. I didn't really have a strong plan. I had some inspiration. Asian Man Records was a big inspiration. Labels like Discord in the U.S.
Because Discord's a DC label.
Yeah, DC label.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time in DC. But I just knew that there were great bands in the U.S. All over the place, great ska bands. But I knew there were a ton of friends I had that were making great music. I knew that we were already banding together in the underground. We already had a touring network. So, before I started the label, I'd been touring for about 10 years before that with Kill Lincoln. And I just had so many contacts, knew there were so many bands, made so many friends. I said, we got to get together. We got to make something. So the first release was a Kill Lincoln reissue. It was a record that never got a vinyl pressing. Yeah. So it was Good Riddance to Good Advice. And then the second release was a We Are the Union reissue. I'd been friends with them for a long time. And it turned out to be a right place, right time scenario. And then the first real full LP of new music that came out was Catbite.
Right. Cool.
That self-titled Catbite record. I had known Tim for a long time from his first band, The Snails. Philadelphia and DC are very close, so we would play together all the time. Not because we were similar type bands, but because there were no other ska bands that were doing the DIY thing and really booking their own shows and supporting each other. So we were kind of working together a lot. And we just became good friends, and we kept in touch. And I saw he was doing something with a new band, and it was I think it was the great Little Richard cover. Maybe it was the Selector cover. But either way, I was like, this is great. I want in. I mean, this is exactly the type of music I want to work with, the type of people I want to work with. And for me, that's almost more important than the music. It's working with people I like.
Yeah. It seems like divine timing, like you starting a label and Tim founding Catbite, all sort of like married up really well, didn't it?
Yeah, it was perfect timing. I don't know how we worked that out, but yeah, we joke we're kind of growing together. I think Catbite is on this high trajectory, and maybe I'm climbing a little bit lower, but we're growing together, so it's kind of fun.
Awesome, mate. Yeah, and and from what you've told me and chatting to the Catbite guys earlier, it seems that like Bad Time Records, the whole scene that's building around the label, it's like a coming of age for like a ska scene that's been healthy and going for a lot of years.
Yeah.
And everything's just sort of coming to fruition, and you've got all this momentum all of a sudden.
Yeah, yes, exactly. You know, a lot of whenever we get any kind of press, it's like, oh, ska's back, ska's here. It's like, never went away. I mean, we all know that. It never went away.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've had a thriving underground scene. You know, Kill Lincoln started in 2008.
Wow.
So we're not a new band. But whenever people are talking about quote unquote new ska bands, they'll say, oh, Kill Lincoln, Catbite. But we've been doing it for a long time. So yeah, it really felt like, I don't know, we're like, let's just get together and let's see what happens, and just turn into a moment that's getting a little bit of attention, which is nice.
And it just goes to show, like, if you stay in the saddle, do you know what I mean, and just keep going with things, good things happen, do you know what I mean, and the cream eventually rises to the top, you know.
I hope so, yeah. I mean, if you care about it enough, you just keep at it, and that's, you know, that's exactly it.
Man. Cool. So you're the founder and manager of the label. You're the singer-guitarist in one of the main bands on the roster, Kill Lincoln. And from what I can see online, you pack and post out most of the mail order items yourself in your carport at home.
Yeah, sure do.
Have you managed to find a good work-life balance despite how busy you are, or is it pretty much like a 24/7 grind to run the label as successfully as you do?
You know, it was a 24/7 grind when I had another full-time gig, that was what kind of pushed me over the edge. I just couldn't swing it. I said, I either have to quit doing the label, or I have to send it off to somebody, or I have to quit my job. And about a year and a half ago, I said, fuck it, I quit my job.
Amazing.
So I'm trying to do this as my full-time gig. So it's a little less stressful. But you know, it really is kind of like it's a 7-day a week, you know, kind of thing. It's my baby, so I'm kind of always on, quote unquote, you know.
I don't know about you, but whenever I try and have a bit of a rest, like within 15 minutes of quiet, I'll get like another idea for Def Guitar Pop or the other business that I run, which is a music business, Hookings Management. Like there's always something ticking. Do you know what I mean? And it's just passion at the end of the day, isn't it? So I mean, I can certainly relate in that when Def Guitar Pop was first turning into like a proper artist business, and I guess, you know, going beyond, wasn't just two pals making music for fun. It, you know, there was a fan base, and it had become monetized and everything. And I saw an opportunity, like an opening. Oh, perhaps there is hope for a music career with this. You know, I had a day job at the time, and I can remember I'd you know, wake up at the crack of dawn to go and do my decorating job. Get home at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, shower, espresso, flip the laptop open, and then just ordering vinyl or organising like ad campaigns or booking shows, whatever it was. And that was the most difficult time for me when that was, because you've got 2 full-time jobs, haven't you?
100%.
And it does burn you out, doesn't it?
Big time. So you start to hate both of them a little bit. And I didn't want to hate music. I didn't want to hate the label. I mean, it couldn't happen, but I didn't want to hate the label and all that work. And I think
want it to become a chore.
Of course. And I mean, what you said, it rings true with me. I mean, you see the opportunity, you see the window, and you're like, I don't know if this is going to work, but I got to fucking do it. Like, I got to do something, you know? So I've really felt that, you know, when I left my job a little while ago. I just saw an opportunity with Bad Time. I was like, if I don't try to do this now, like, who knows, you know, and who knows where we're going to be in 5 years, 10 years, whatever, you know, but I know right now, like, I could give it a go. So let's, you know, let me try my hand at it, see what happens.
So yeah, I mean, congratulations on like monetizing your passion to the point where it can pay you full time. You know, how challenging has it been to keep the boat afloat financially, bringing in enough money to live on, you know, whilst continuing to fund the growth of the label since you left your job?
It's tough. It's a big challenge, and you know, quite honestly, if my wife wasn't working a full-time job and providing health insurance for me, it would be doubly difficult.
Yeah.
But it's been an adjustment. But last year was the first year where I really could see how that was going to work. It's like, all right, can I pay my share of the rent? Can I pay my utilities? Can I do all this stuff? And I got through it. I wasn't.
That's the first big box to tick.
Yeah,
just keeping your head above water.
There were a couple really intense months.
Of course, man. Yeah.
Difficult times where I was sweating a little bit, but I'm still here. And I'm still doing the label and. Yeah, still can pay my rent sometimes. Yeah.
Hope your landlord's not listening.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So let's talk about This Is New Tone, concert film,
sure, yeah.
documentary about the current US ska punk scene following the Bad Time Records 2023 tour.
Yeah.
You raised an incredible $78,000
Blew my mind.
on Kickstarter to fund the production and release. Firstly, it must feel incredible to have that kind of support from your fan base.
It was wild. I didn't expect. I mean, we hit the goal so fast. I think the original goal was 55,000, and I was like just sweating that number. I've been working on a budget for months before that. I'm like, I know exactly how much we need to make this film. And I was like, all right, that's it. I'm sweating it. But we hit it, I think, in the first 2 days.
That's incredible, man.
Wild. I wasn't even ready. I was like, oh, you're supposed to do stretch goals. Like, I don't even know what to do. I wasn't even prepared. So I kind of had to wing it with that stuff. But it feels amazing just to have that support and to know people are, not that just they're listening, but that they're tuned in. They get the concept, they get the idea, and they have the faith that we're going to go and make something that might be important to them. It means a lot.
And am I right in thinking as well you're a filmmaker? So you're doing the...
Yeah. In my previous life, I was a video editor and director, producer for years. That was a lot of like corporate work, I've made a couple, I did a bunch of music videos, I did some other stuff like that. But yeah, this is like me trying to take my old life and this new music life and kind of bring them together. So working with a very talented cinematographer, Ray Mystic, and some other folks to make it. But yeah, I'm gonna cut it all together. So I'm really excited to see how it's gonna go.
And was it heavily inspired by dance craze?
100%. I mean, how could it not be? If you're gonna make
course.
a concert film about ska, like it's a huge inspiration. So we're actually gonna throw in a couple little Easter eggs when the film is done. We have some plans to, so there might be some familiar scenes in there. We'll see.
Brilliant. And again, it's divine timing because the reissue's just happened, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. They were just celebrating it last week, right? With the premieres and stuff. I wish I could have seen some of that.
Yeah, and I was so fucking buzzing to see that when that popped up on my socials. I was like, this is what we need. This is what the scene needs. Do you know what I mean? People like kind of documenting what's going on for like the next generation, but also like, tipping your cap to the two-tone, like the
100%,
all the bands that helped inspire the music that we all make. So I can't wait to see that movie, man. When do you think it'll be ready?
I think the plan right now is to have it ready by the end of the year. So December is the goal. So we just finished the first leg of the US tour, and then the second leg is June and July. So we should have all the footage by mid-July. And then it's just on me to start cutting it, put it together, audio mix, all this kind of stuff. So, hoping for December. So.
Cool.
Greetings, listeners. Jake from Decent Mastering here. Really pleased to be involved with a podcast whose ethos aligns with my own, helping independent artists. My Pay What You Feel mastering service offers inclusivity to music creators with tighter budgets, giving quality audio at a price that suits them. To get in contact, send an email to decentmastering@gmail.com or send me a DM on Instagram @decentmastering. Enjoy the rest of the show.
And are you like a perfectionist? Will you paint over the edit?
Yeah, sure will. Yeah, to a point though, because at some point I'm also concerned about getting it out there.
Of course,
it can't. It's
you got to
never
surrender it at some point.
It's never going to be perfect the way I really want it. So I'm going to get it as close to perfect as I think we can get it, and then we'll just get it out. But I'm really excited about the footage we've got from the first leg. It's like, it's everything I wanted. So
brilliant,
I'm
man.
really excited about it. Yeah.
Awesome, mate. Yeah, I mean the perfectionism thing. I've sort of I'm exactly the same. Do you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Fucking painting over like snare sounds on like single mixes and all kinds of
Yes.
shit. But I've
Yeah,
just a thing that's helped me get over that is when something's like 80-90%, that is done. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
100% doesn't exist.
Never
Do you know what I mean?
exists.
So that's
Yeah,
like my
yeah.
point of surrender now.
Yeah,
When I'm like
yeah.
80-90% happy with something, I'm just like, right,
Sure.
fuck it, ship
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Like, I'm
move
not
on to the
listening to
next
that
thing.
again tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool, man. So what kind of marketing methods did you use to promote the Kickstarter campaign? Do you do all the marketing in-house yourself? Or
Do
you
all the
have a team?
marketing. Yeah, I do all the marketing myself. I mean, I have a guy, Brent Friedman in the U.S., he's the booking agent for all the Bad Time bands, but he also helps me out whenever he can with just sort of social media strategy. He used to do booking for bands like Goldfinger, MXPX, so he's got a lot in his head about sort of, ad buys on Facebook and all this stuff. But yeah, I build all the assets myself. I mean, I use my skills with animation and videography, editing, all that stuff. So I built all the assets. I just spent weeks preparing, just building graphics and sending out a very detailed plan to all the bands. That's half the battle. It's just get your network together, get your bands together, and say, hey, here's what we're doing. Here's what we're going to do day one. Here's what we're going to do day two. Here's what we're going to do weeks 2 and 3 to keep this thing moving, to keep the momentum moving. It's like momentum marketing is kind of what we do.
Yeah,
so you just
yeah.
gotta build the hype, and no pre-announcements. It's like
Just
wait until it's out.
Drop
and
the tunes.
drop it,
That's
and it's
exactly
like,
what we do, man.
Yep, you
as
have
soon as
to.
the music video is ready, just
Yep.
fucking get it out there and
Yep.
get it on every platform.
Yep.
I mean, I noticed that like, I don't know if it's the same in the US, but with a lot of the UK labels, they won't upload the full music video to every platform. It will just be YouTube because they're
They want to push it there.
and they want the views to be as inflated as possible on YouTube.
Right.
And same with Spotify, they want to get their traffic over there because it's all about how many streams it's getting, how many monthly listeners. But what I've found, because we're totally DIY and we don't really have to like conform to any of
I love
that,
that, yep.
just put it on every platform in its like long form version, because there's fans that are using all different social platforms and consuming music on
Absolutely.
in different ways. And we're like yourself, really. We don't hype up a release like it just kind of appears, and that's the hype in itself. It's like a first round knockout.
Yeah. Well, you get it. I mean, you're the artist too, right? So
Yeah.
you're the artist and the company. So you understand that, like, you want it to be accessible. You
Yeah.
want people to, whatever service they use, that's where you want them to be able to get it.
Yeah.
It's got to be on Spotify and iTunes and Deezer and whatever. You want it all over the place.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, however, I'm happy with people listening, no matter where it is.
Yeah.
So,
And
as long as they're listening, that's all that matters, right?
Yeah,
It's like-
man. And the more kind of clicks, the harder it is to get someone to convert and actually go and check out the content. Do you know what I mean? So if you're posting like a clip of a music video on Instagram, you've then got to get them to click over to YouTube. It's much more likely that someone will stick around and watch the rest of the video on Instagram or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So is it like, would you say paid ads has been a big part of promoting the Bad Time bands?
In the beginning, we dabbled with it, when
Yeah.
we would have it on sale, because Facebook and Instagram, of course, they're not going to show anything unless you put a little, unless you have a really good strategy or unless you put some money into
organic
it.
reach is tough, isn't
It's
it?
really tough.
Yeah.
So we did experiment with a little bit of Facebook advertising in the beginning, but over the past like 2 years, I said, fuck it. Like I can't stand Facebook. I can't stand the way they operate. I don't want to put any money into that. So we've just been relying on just organic reach.
Yeah.
And if we post something and it doesn't hit, that's what happens, I just got to live with it and then move on to the next thing. So it's just trying different things, seeing what works. So let's try a reel with this, or let's try a collaboration post with this. Let's do this just on story, just trying different stuff. So we're constantly just trying different things just to see what clicks. And it's always something different. There's no exact science. Although you should ask Catbite, because everything they post kind of hits like crazy.
They're on it, aren't they? Yeah, they are on it.
They really got it. Yeah.
I guess what it comes down to, the main thing is it's about obviously putting great content and great music out. That's a no-brainer. But being consistent with that.
Yep.
and also taking the time to nurture the relationship with the fan base and reply. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
It's as simple as that. You know, the
Talk to
direct
people.
response marketing. Yeah, actually talk to people and work those communities daily. That's the biggest thing. So yeah, in that sense, the organic stuff that you're doing is obviously the most effective, isn't it?
Yeah, and I don't want to be a faceless corporation or whatever. You know, there's so many labels out there where it's just like, you know, they post stuff and you don't know who works there, what's going on, what's the deal. So that's why, you know, I don't post pictures of me because I love posting pictures of myself.
Yeah.
I just want to show people like, yeah, I'm sending your record. Like,
Yeah,
I'm replying to your customer
carpool,
service.
packing up vinyls. Yeah.
I'm out here. I'm the one doing it. Like, I care about this music and I'm happy to, you know, chat with you about it or whatever. You know, like, it's me. It's not a robot or whatever. So so that's important. You know, to talk to people directly and stay connected. Yeah.
Yeah, wicked, man. So my next question is, like, is there a set formula for each Bad Time Records release? As in, like, from agreeing to put out the release to finishing the promo cycle, are there like go-to strategies and release campaign fundamentals for each release that you take on?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I can tell that you run a label yourself because you're asking all these.
Yeah, and do you know what it is as well,
it.
mate? We've got like our listener base is mainly like entrepreneurial DIY musicians.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to ask these kind of questions. So I want to just spread the gospel.
I love talking about this stuff. Yeah. I mean, over time, you know, like I said, when I started the label, I really didn't know what the best way to roll something out. I had a little bit of background in the corporate marketing, so I kind of knew, you know, how to make, you know, a 30-second advertisement. Like, I knew what to do, what you had to say. But over the past couple of years, I've gotten into something I'm comfortable with, something that I know will work, you know, that will get a record listened to by our core group. Yeah. But I always like to experiment with stuff. I really don't want to get stale with the way we roll stuff out because I don't want people to just expect, oh, well, we know this single comes out on Friday and second single will be out in 3 weeks. And then I don't want people to get too used to it. So this year I'm actually trying to mix things up a little bit. Cool. So doing one release where we're just doing like a single every month. Yep. And then at the end of that, we'll announce that there's a vinyl of all the singles that came out. So that's a little bit different than the way I usually do it, which is, hey, there's a new record. You can pre-order it now, but singles will come out for the next couple weeks.
And there'll be like a music video drop with that.
Exactly, it'll be in between, or we'll get some, you know, blog to premiere it or something just to build a little press around it. But yeah, it's, you know, I have one system that works, but I'm trying other stuff because I think you got to keep innovating. You can't let it get stale.
Definitely, man.
Yeah.
Cool. So I noticed, I was reading up about the record club that you do. How's that? Is that like a membership that people pay like monthly for and they get like a record in the mail like every few months?
Yeah. The record club has been something that got so huge and I never expected. Because I had joined a record club a couple years. I joined the Asian Man Records record club, and I just thought it was so cool. I kind of forgot I was in the club. And then, you know, every couple of weeks you just get a couple LPs and it's like, oh shit. It's like, I don't even know what this is, but cool. It's great. Yeah. So I opened it up. The first record club I did was 4 years ago, or 3 years ago, 4 years ago. And I was just like 25 people. I was like, I'm only going to open 25 slots. So you pay up front for a year's worth of records at a big discount. Yep. And then I'll ship them out, once a month. Or I think the first one I did was like 6 records. You get 6 records. So once every 2 months. This past year, I did it in November, the record club for this year, 250 spots, and it all sold out in a day.
No way.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Wild. So now I can do, you know, they all get their own unique pressing, right? So that's one of the benefits. So they get a special variant that's just for the record club.
It's like numbered, is it?
Yeah, it's not numbered, but they get a variant that nobody else
can get. Their own variant?
Yeah, their own variant. So that's the only way to get it. Hopefully nothing's up on Discogs or whatever, or eBay. But yeah, so the record club support, I mean, those people, you know, they are the most hardcore of the hardcore fans.
You're super fans.
Yeah, but I can tell it means a lot to me because they're buying the label at that point. Yeah. When they buy 12 releases a year ahead of time, they don't know what they are. They just believe in the label. They believe
got faith in the name.
So that makes me really want to like work extra hard to make sure that what I'm putting out is good and that I love it. But yeah, it's been great. So this year we've got some great stuff for the record club. They already got this Pumps LP, the Omnigon record that just came out today. They're getting a lot of fun stuff. I don't want to spoil it too much, but
And you've had some legends of the scene, like Less Than Jake did a release with you guys as well. I mean, that must have been like fucking huge for you, right?
yeah, it was wild. Yeah, we did a 7-inch split, Kill Link and Less Than Jake, and it was like middle of the pandemic, right when it started, beginning of 2020. I didn't even know him very well, but JR from Less Than Jake hit me up. He said, "Hey, like, we like Kill Lincoln. You want to do something together?" It's like, I don't think I could have said yes any faster. It's like, yeah, are you joking? Like, of course. So yeah, we did that split, and then that made me start this Wavebreaker series, which is a series of, it was going to be 7 inches, but now it's just all kinds of splits between sort of current generation ska punk bands, and then
like legacy artists.
Legacy, I don't want to call them older because they're not old, but like existing, bands who are around in the quote-unquote third wave or something around that. So we did Less Than Jake and Kill Lincoln. The second release was Catbite and Mike Park. And then we did a band called The Best of the Worst and Folly. Folly is a legendary ska-core band from New Jersey, where I grew up. And we've got some other really great ones coming out this year, which, again, I can't spoil yet. Really,
I can tell
really
you're like
good
chomping
ones.
at the bit.
I know, I really want to. But yeah, so that's been a lot of fun to work with some of my heroes and get to know some of them.
Yeah, I bet, man.
It's been great.
Awesome. Cool. So yeah, last question.
Yeah.
What are the short and long-term goals for Bad Time Records?
Man, I just want to keep it going.
Yeah.
I want to keep putting out music I love. I want to keep supporting my friends. I want to keep being a place that can support ska and ska punk bands, because we didn't have it. I mean, that's why I started the label. There was just nowhere to turn for someone that would give you, like, not just support, but like honesty and sort of like a little bit of loyalty and a little bit of community.
Yeah.
I want to keep building the community. And I'd love to keep. I'd love to not have to get a new job
Forever.
in the next forever if I can.
Yeah.
But as long as we can ride this, that'd be great. But I also really want bands like Catbite and We Are the Union. I want to make this sustainable for them too.
Of course, yeah.
I want them to be able to live their dream. So that's important to me.
Amazing.
I get to do it a little bit. I want them to do it. Like, that's
Yeah.
the whole point. So I just want to keep building up this community.
Well, I mean, I'm such a massive fan of everything that's going on with you guys.
Thank you,
It's inspirational to watch as well. I've been following the growth on social media. It's DIY. It's wearing ska as like the genre as a badge of honor. I think that's important,
sure is,
because there's been so much stigma to the genre, and it's a beautiful genre of music.
Amazing.
And it unifies people, and there's not more. You won't have more fun than you will at a ska show.
100%.
It's like fucking the
I want
energy in
everyone
the
to know
room
that.
and
Yep.
the range of people, like different ages and backgrounds, and I love what you're doing. Please keep doing it, and I hope that Deaf Guitar Pop can be part of a future Bad Time tour, man.
I would
It'd
be happy
amazing.
to anytime. Let's talk about that for sure, for real.
So, man, Mike, thanks again for your time, mate.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Nice
Thank you so
one.
much. Yeah, appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Oi, oi, people, Silky here, and you're listening to the Lifer Musician Podcast, a podcast exploring the minds of creatives who've dedicated their lives to pursuing a career in music. The Lifer Musician Podcast is brought to you by Hookins Management, my artist services company that empowers our fellow DIY musicians to grow a monetised fan base without a record label. We offer a range of services such as online marketing, artist mentorship, release campaign management, videography, photography, graphic and website design, plus tons more useful services that are built to cater for independent musicians on small, self-funded budgets. Helping musicians market and monetize their art form is our passion. So if you're an artist that needs help taking your career to the next level, please feel free to reach out and get in touch via hookinsmanagement.com, where you can book a video call with me for some free advice on your project.